I would say, you say we're not sure about the contenders, and I think that's generally true. And I think the Bucks are the exception. I feel really good about the Bucks. At the beginning of the year,
Can't even beat the Warriors, Slater.
at
Without Giannis,
I'm
just
kidding.
minor footnote
I'm
there.
trolling. Yes.
at the beginning of the year, they were really struggling offensively. They just couldn't score, and it really looked like they were missing Chris Middleton because they'd get to all these league clock possessions when Middleton is their bailout guy. Like Giannis is not their bailout guy. Middleton is the 3-level scorer who's elite in the mid-range, elite around the rim. He's a good shot creator. He's a good passer. He's elite at 3. And he was the guy who was going to help them in so many different ways. And Giannis and Drew Holiday just weren't necessarily carrying the offense the same way. Giannis's shot selection really changed. He was taking a lot more from the mid-range, and that offense bogged down to the bottom 10. And during this run, where they're 21-3 over their last 24 games, and they have the best record in the league, and they have the best net rating in the league, and they have the best defense in the league. They have the 7th best offense in the league. Middleton is back. He's not even playing that great yet. He's not even shooting that great. Over this run, every player in their rotation, including Giannis, is shooting better than 35% from 3, except for Chris Middleton.
Right. But I mean, you do talk about the Bucks with some assurity, and I would agree. Like, I guess if we landscape the league, that would be the team I'd feel most comfortable about. But do you feel comfortable Chris Middleton is going to be Chris Middleton in the playoffs?
Well, before Fred answers, let me add context that Slater, I'm sure, just thought of. In the Warriors game that we both attended the other night, you talk about a strange oddity. Chris Middleton does not start the overtime period. Our Eric Name, Bucks beat writer, even tweeted, at least the way I read the tweet was like, man, Chris is out for the game. It's the knee soreness or whatever you want. And then he got put in like 2 minutes in. You could tell that Bucks coach Mike Budenholzer was, call it tinkering, call it, not sure how to use him, that the Chris stuff is still a little sideways.
Not playing well.
Totally. I mean, he was also coming off the bench until 3 games ago.
Yeah.
They've really been trying to ease him in. I'm not convinced that Chris Middleton is still going to be the same guy come the postseason, because we haven't seen it all year. When he came back for those 10 or so games in December, he was really struggling with his shot. And it's really noticeable because Middleton is an unbelievable shooter. I mean, the reason why I have confidence in them is because the offense right now is good enough. It's not bottom 10. There's no way it's not close to bottom 10 right now. It's not an elite offense. It's a good offense. And it is so by far the best defense in the league right now. I mean, they have 3 guys in Giannis, Brook Lopez, and Drew Holiday who have a legitimate chance at first team all defense. When those 3 are on the floor, they just clean up, they rake. And for what it's worth, in the small amount of time that Giannis, Drew, Brook, and Middleton have been on the court together, those guys all have incredible chemistry together and have played together for a really long time. And the small amount of time those guys have been together, the Bucks have absolutely demolished teams. Just because those guys know how to play together. The defense has been fantastic. The offense has been fantastic. I think they're the favorites right now. They're just playing such great basketball, and it doesn't look like they're hot. It just looks like they're really good.
They're honestly confusing to me. I don't think I disagree with you, but again, just saw him Saturday. Actually going to see him again tonight. They're in Sacramento.
Finals preview maybe tonight.
We're going to get to them Beam Team Kings a little bit later. I actually wrote about Mike Brown today. Slater wrote about De'Aaron Fox the other day. We got 2 Kings beat writers on the pod, apparently. The Bucks confuse me, and we're not going to talk MVP this week. We decided maybe next week, but they confuse me because Giannis is having an incredible year, an MVP caliber year. But you also see, and I hadn't read it yet, but you see some analysis that, that indicates that it's perhaps not Giannis's best year when it comes to the efficiency side of things. Kevin Pelton from ESPN wrote something the other day about that. And so it's like, all right, it's not just as simple as Giannis carrying, the whole operation. You talked about, their defensive depth, Fred, and that's a massive part of it. But Middleton being down, I mean, they obviously they're a deep squad, and Drew Holiday is doing special things. But I still am a little confused about their dominance in light of some of the, vulnerabilities, I guess you'll say, that we also see at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. Giannis's efficiency numbers aren't as good as they were the last few years, and that's kind of been a thing all year, and that's in part because of the shot
For
selection
the
that I
record,
was
I don't think I
referencing.
care, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's in part because of the shot selection I was referencing earlier. For what it's worth, that's been a thing that we've kind of heard all year. Giannis's efficiency numbers are not as good as they were before. Giannis had like the best efficiency numbers. So
Right.
you're comparing his
Facts.
efficiency numbers to top of the line elite efficiency numbers. It's not like he's been inefficient. He has a 56% effective field goal percentage. That's really good. And then
Right.
you factor it into with his usage, his efficiency is still top of the line fantastic. It's just not where he was last year and the year before, and it's because he's taking more jumpers this year. Because he's not a lower percentage of his baskets are assisted this year. He's just taking a different kind of shots. It's different kinds of shots because of the personnel they have and because of the way they're playing. I have absolutely no concern. I have less concern about Giannis than I do about any other player in the NBA.